Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The provincial government has given Saskatchewan schools the green light to open this fall, and Eric Bay has more on how learning will look like in September across the Lloydminster Public School Division.
While schools like Lloyd Comp have been closed for months, they are preparing to open their doors again soon. Maintaining distance and keeping in small groups is the LPSD's focus for the 2020-21 school year by adjusting class lengths and staggering breaks to limit contact.
Trying to keep kids in groups and limit the interchange that happens between students during the course of the day. So I think parents can expect that their children will be in a classroom with a group of students for the majority of the day, if not all. Today we're at LCHS doing this press conference, and obviously here that's a bit more of a challenge. So we're going to be working on a different type of timetable where kids take less classes during the day, but those classes will be for a longer period of time.
Online learning techniques that were used to finish the latest school year will also be implemented in LPSD's plan.
There will be pieces that we have learned or that we pull from the last 4 months that are really strong around just engagement of kids in an online context or world. It's not going to replace traditional education, but it's another tool in the toolkit of our teachers that will be there and is a legacy item for what we've dealt with the last 4 months.
Cleaning will also be emphasized, with more staff working at schools to try and limit the spread of germs.
There will be more custodial hours in Lloyd Public next year than there is this year for sure. I think in our context we've been very fortunate. We have full-time caretakers in all of our buildings during the day and evening caretakers available in the evening. We'll be shifting those hours and then filling in the gaps where need be. So there will be more folks employed as custodians in the school, and that's a core strategy to keeping people safe.
Parents will also be asked to take students home immediately if they are sick and limit the amount of children on buses by driving their own kids to school. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
The Spray Park at Bud Miller Park reopened to the public today. The City of Lloydminster discussed the reopening in this week's COVID-19 update.
We're here for the weekly COVID-19 update within the City of Lloydminster. Today is Thursday, June 25, 2020. We have a few questions from Primetime Local News. Let's start with question 1. The Spray Park opened today. I'm just wondering what safety guidelines are in place.
Yes, so the Spray Park in Bud Miller All Seasons Park did open today, which we are happy to reintroduce to our community. With the opening, there is some guidelines still in place under health regulations. This includes we are asking individuals that are sick to stay home, make sure that we maintain social distancing or physical distancing of 2 meters. Ask that you wash or sanitize your hands before and after use. And then children should be accompanied by an adult to ensure compliance with physical distancing as well as just general safety.
And so with the Spray Park reopening, what went into the planning to get the amenity reopened?
So to open up the Spray Park, just like normal years, we do have to have our local public health inspector come and test the water this year, as well as they did look at the plans to open. We do need to make sure that everything is structurally sound in our mechanical system. It's been a long winter, and our team has to review and ensure that everything is in good working order for when we open. And then we've also prepared the required signage for opening.
And third question, how is the city planning for reopening of indoor pools and rinks in the next stage of Phase 4?
The City of Lloydminster is planning ahead on these 2 facilities. Our indoor pool is in the final stages of maintenance being completed as of right now, as well as planning for the opening, and the rules and guidelines around that is well underway. And as far as hockey rinks, they are allowed open later on in Phase 4.2. Ice is currently being put into these arenas and will be allowed for conditioning camps off the bat. And further down the road, when we are allowed to resume indoor sports activities, we'll be able to reintroduce hockey, and all safety and planning guidelines will be in place.
The Saskatchewan NDP point to a report that details how a plumbing flaw saw extremely hot water being pumped into toilets in January 2019. Staff say this reportedly left patients, quote, burning their butts. This comes alongside a host of water issues and entire roof replacement. The government says the issue was resolved immediately and the taxpayer is protected.
We want them to do better. But again, this is one of the advantages of the P3 situation, that they are on the hook for the costs and they have to make sure that it's rectified and remedied.
He added that an audit of the facility is underway and says the government will share that once it is complete. Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Take a look at our temperatures right now. We, of course, had another clear, nice sunny day outside here. 25 degrees is what we're currently sitting at right now. Some winds, though, coming in from the northwest and west at 21 kilometers an hour there. Now, as we take a look at some temperatures around the area here, as we see 26 in Vermilion, 24 for Vegreville, 23 out in Edmonton, along with St. Paul, 24 also for Lac La Biche and in Bonnyville, 26 degrees out in Cold Lake right now, 25 for Maidstone, 26 in North Battleford, 28 in Macklin, while 24 in Provost and St. Walburg as well. Let's take a look at the satellite radar map. There's a little bit of that cloud coverage activity there in that Maidstone, North Battleford area. It continues to be like that as it has been over the course of the last several days. And on the Alberta side, of course, we did see a lot of activity yesterday. Now, of course, as we see it for today, we see a little bit of cloud coverage, a little bit possible chance of some showers and cloud coverage in that Vegreville and that Marwayne area, and just a little bit in that Bonnyville area over the course of the next little bit here. So here's a look at some temperatures as we go a little bit more in depth, as North Battleford sits 12 degrees overnight with some cloud coverage going into tomorrow at the high of 24 degrees. Now, let's take a look at Cold Lake overnight. Fairly clear skies tomorrow, leading into some showers. The daytime high of 21 degrees. 13 degrees for us here in Lloydminster overnight, with 20 degrees tomorrow for our daytime high. Now, as we take a look at the next 3 days, take a look into the weekend here. 17 degrees for Saturday with a 66% chance we could see some showers there, and 18 degrees for Sunday with the daytime high there and some showers as well, and a 74% chance we could see some showers. And the chance of showers could be a possibility as we see over the course of the next several days, maybe even into Canada today, but we'll showcase that in just a little bit into the 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
On this week's edition of Around the AJHL, our Evan Kenny sits down with Sherwood Park Crusaders General Manager Kyle Chase.
Joining me today for another edition of Around the AJHL is Sherwood Park Crusaders General Manager Kyle Chase. Kyle, thanks for taking this time.
Thanks, Ev. Great talking to you.
Now, Kyle, you guys were placed first in all of Canada for a good chunk of this regular season. Now, what was that like for yourself and for your team getting that honors?
Well, I think it was, it was really nice as a feather in our cap to how well we constructed a team, how good a job the coaches did, how committed our players were for the last 3 years, Evan. Obviously a great feather in our cap, but a lot of unfinished business, right?
Yeah, and for yourself, just falling short of that first championship in team history, how nice would that have been? You speak about feathers in the cap, that's sort of the ultimate feather there.
For sure, and I think it's one of those things where, I think we looked at it, Ev, and we think, well, what could have been, but you still have to go through the process, and there's still teams that are trying to beat you, and there's other teams that we have so much respect for that, you're going to see down the way. It wasn't going to be a layup against Drayton Valley. And obviously, Whitecourt and Spruce were two really good teams. And, forget about Okotoks and Brooks and, Drumheller and so many good teams this year that I think everybody had a chance. But yeah, we feel a little bit, disappointed that we couldn't continue the run for sure.
Now, you guys had a pretty amazing group of 20-year-olds, that 99 born group on your team, being led by Arjun Atwal, obviously captain of your team, league MVP, 107 points. What else can you add, I guess, that people don't know already about this guy and really just about that 20-year-old group in general?
Well, I think Arjun is such a good leader that I think people might just look at the on-ice product, Evan, and say, okay, well, I get it. He's the MVP of the league and he leads the league in scoring, et cetera, et cetera. But when we have to buckle down and we're in tight situations, his voice for an undersized guy is booming in the room, and it it speaks volumes to most captains. I think that are at next level, et cetera. Captains are guys that can say it, walk the walk, but they talk the talk, but they walk the walk as well. And I think Arjun is the epitome of that. He's a guy that he's so responsible as a human being on and off the ice, and his leadership is, it doesn't matter if they run into players that, people in the community, players that are affiliate players with us, have that type of thing, where those guys, he's always outgoing and making them feel part of the group and part of our organization. That leadership is just hard to find.
And I mean, it'll be tough trying to find somebody to fill in his shoes, but couple possible returnees who are younger. First of all, Carter Savoy and Michael Benning. I know both of them are committed to university, but how nice would it be getting those guys back, especially, with age on their side?
Oh my. Well, they would be unbelievable, first of all. There's not a lot left to prove for either player in our league. They're ready for the next step, and they've earned that right to be there. That would be some kind of blessing we'd have if those two fell out of the sky for us and just ended up in Sherwood Park. I don't see it happening. In saying that, for a couple of younger guys on the ice, Evan, you and I talked about it when we watched Lloyd and Sherwood Park play about, the two players, et cetera. And when your dad was there, I believe at the time. And I just think it's one of those things, Ev, where it's hard to ignore their leadership on the ice and off the ice. And they're such good people and they keep working hard at their craft. And, it'd be easy for them to be, cocky and all those other things that they're not. And it's just a testament to, upbringing and their character.
Now, obviously, both of them are up for the NHL draft coming up whenever that may be this summer. What can you tell people about their play on the ice, not just them off the ice?
Well, Michael, to start with, is a player that, he's so good offensively, and he has just such a creative mind. And he's when he started with us, he was a bit of a riverboat gambler up the ice, and I'll take my chances at one end and give up a few at the other end. But he's changed that drastically, and he's going to become such a good defender now. And and he gets in lanes and knows how to use his stick, and way tougher than people think. Like, he's a gritty little player that he's not tiny, but he's an undersized D-man, but he's got so much skill, and he can make that 6-foot bump pass, and he can quarterback anybody's power play. And so from our perspective with Mike, sky's the limit for Mike, right? And Carter, well, I think people look at it, and I tested this to a home run hitter. If the guy only has a 225 average and he hits 50 home runs, we start every game 1-0. And people are like, what do you mean? Well, Carter Savoy scores every game. So you need 2 to beat us. And that's how it is. And you can't ignore that. So you can look at it and say, well, if our goalie's real sharp tonight and he only lets in 1 goal, we're going to win, because Savvy's going to get 1 for sure. Right? And just think about what I'm saying. And it's the reality of it, right? It's hard to replace 1-0 when the game starts. And, and I'm not saying we score first every time, but you get my point, right? You're going to need 2 to beat us, because he's going to score. And he's such a skilled player, and he's smart, and he passes the puck probably better than anybody on our team. And him and Mike are probably neck and neck in the passing side of it. And he sees the ice so well, and he's sneaky tough too. And he can play at both ends of the rink. And he started playing on our PK, a little bit out before Christmas, I guess, but mostly after. We got our best players on the ice. One thing our coaches do really well is get our best players, or our most effective players, on the ice as much as possible. And it doesn't. You can go down 20 minutes downtown to watch the blue and orange team play. They do the same thing. Their best players play a lot, and that's hockey now. And our other guys get the opportunities when games are a little more at far reach. But when tight games, we play our best guys because we're trying to win, and that's the business we're in.
Yeah, and Denver has a couple pretty gifted, pretty special guys coming there for the future. Kyle, I appreciate you taking this time. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Evan. Take good care.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Take a look at temperatures right now. Once again, still sitting at 25 degrees right now, 22 degrees out in Red Deer and in Rocky Mountain House, along with Jasper, 24 out in Edson, 23 for Edmonton and Whitecourt, 24 also in Athabasca, 22 degrees also out in Cold Lake, 25 for Melfort and Saskatoon, 26 degrees in North Battleford, Meadow Lake, and in Prince Albert. Take a look at some temperatures into our northern regions here. 26 for La Loche, Buffalo Narrows, and La Ronge there. Flin Flon sitting at a nice 20 degrees right now, 19 degrees for Wollaston Lake and South End there, 21 in Stony Rapids, and 22 out in Uranium City, 19 degrees for Grand Prairie, 20 degrees out in Peace River and in Slave Lake right now, 24 degrees at Fort McMurray, and 20 in Fort Chipewyan, with 22 degrees sitting right now in High Level. Take a look at some temperatures as we move down to the southern areas. 23 in Lethbridge and Calgary, 25 for Medicine Hat, and 24 degrees up in Coronation, and 23 degrees right now in Banff. As we move over to southern Saskatchewan right now, 26 degrees in Estevan and Regina and Moose Jaw, 23 in Swift Current, with 25 degrees in Kindersley and 24 degrees out in Yorkton. Now, as we take a look at some temperatures across the rest of the country here, 25 degrees in Winnipeg right now with some cloud coverage, following the same suit in Toronto there with 25 as well, 22 in Quebec City, St. John's at 21, 27 degrees out in Halifax, all with some fairly cloudy skies there, and same thing out west there. Vancouver sitting at 20 degrees right now, up north in Yellowknife, 17 degrees right now, and Whitehorse sitting at 13 degrees as well. So here's what we could possibly see for tomorrow as our daytime high, sitting with a 20-degree daytime high with 19-degree daytime highs in Vegreville and Vermilion as well. 20 degrees in Marwaint, St. Paul, and Edmonton tomorrow. 22 out in Bonnyville, and 21 up north in Lac La Biche, Cold Lake, and in Pearceland. 24 tomorrow for Provost, and 26 out in Macklin. Maidstone sits at 22 degrees tomorrow. North Battleford sitting at 24. 21 in St. Walburg, and 22 in Meadow Lake, with 23 in Green Lake and 22 for Isle La Crosse. So here is a look at what we could see over the next 7 days. As I mentioned, 20 degrees tomorrow for a daytime high with some cloud coverage. We could be seeing 17 degrees on Saturday with some 66% chance of some showers there. Same results for Sunday, with a high of 18 degrees and a 74% chance of some showers. 21 on Monday, 20 degrees on Tuesday, and as we head into Canada today on Wednesday, 21 degrees with nice weather expected there with some sun and a few clouds there. We could see some more rain possibly on the Thursday with that high of 21 degrees, but we also could see a 56% chance of some showers to follow suit. We usually average around 22 degrees for our daytime highs around this time of year. We usually average around 10 for our daytime lows. So we're looking fairly good for the next couple of days here, fairly high in the 20s there, and also drop down to a little bit past below 20 for the weekend with some showers to follow suit, but should be a good warm weekend nonetheless. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break. All right, I'm very pleased to be joined with now Juno-nominated artist Aaron Goodvin. Aaron, first off, congratulations on the nomination, and thanks for chatting with us today.
Thank you so much, Connor. It's good to see you.
Absolutely, you too. So I did mention, of course, you are now officially a Juno-nominated artist. So just talk about how you found out that you were nominated.
Well, it was really funny. We were talking about we were really trying to get on as the new country artist, or sorry, I guess it was new artist or breakthrough artist of the year. So when we were watching, they did a live video stream of all the people that were being nominated, and so that award came up, and we heard that we didn't get it, and we were like, oh dang, because we were really fighting for that one. And then the next award was Album of the Year, which we didn't even realize that we were up for. It has to do with sales and streaming, and so we were like, oh, and then it was basically like Aaron Goodvin V, and we all freaked out. It was pretty awesome.
Now, just talk about you, of course, nominated for Country Artist of the Year. You're up against some very high-profile names. What is it like to be in that same class as those other artists?
Yeah, it's incredible. These are some of the biggest artists in Canadian country music: Dean Brody, Dal Smith, my label mate Megan Patrick, and a couple others. It's pretty incredible. It's very early on in my career. This is my second record, and to be up for such an award against those guys, we don't even need to win it. I'm just happy to be a part of it, and happy that my music has touched people enough that they want to hear it again and listen to it again and buy it. And heck, that's enough for me. This is it's going to be an incredible night on Monday. Just just seeing my name up there.
How humbling is it for you as an artist? Because of course we did kind of see that you're starting on a CMT reality show many years ago, and now you're up to here. How humbling is it for you at this point right now in your career?
This is the stuff that you dream about when you're a kid, when you're, a 12-year-old kid, going to voice and guitar lessons and putting in all that work that just years and years and years of grinding. I put together a band when I was 18. We toured around for 5 straight years, and this has been a labor of love. This nomination goes out to like all of my family and all the people who booked me or put up with me, probably more likely when I was younger. And it's not only an award that I get to be up for myself and my current team, but it's all those people that believed in me along the way and get to celebrate in this with us. It's a very amazing accomplishment. We don't take it lightly. And like I said, I'm just happy to be making music. So this is a bonus.
Absolutely. And just for some of the viewers that may not know about your second album, V, just give a little bit of a synopsis on where that inspiration came from.
Yeah, we called the record V. We named it after my wife. Her name's Victoria, and she's a big part of my life, a big part of my career. And I often say I would not be here without her. So basically, when we were going, we're going to try and find a title for the record. We're kind of humming and hawing, listening to different lyrics and listening to different songs, and nothing really jumped out as a song title that we could call the record after. But one of my managers, Mandy, said, well, the common theme that I hear is V. And we call my wife Victoria V. So we're like, oh, that's kind of a cool title. So, and being that all the songs have a piece of our relationship in it, it just seemed very fitting. So.
Absolutely. Well, Aaron, congratulations on all the success. If you want to watch the Juno Awards, it's on Monday, June 29th. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch it on CBC Music's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. They'll be streaming live because obviously you can't be there in person because of the coronavirus. But Aaron, good luck to you on Monday, and thanks again, as always, for chatting with me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and good to see you, buddy.
You too.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm joined here with Susan Cambridge, and she is the founder of LloydFest. Now, with the different reopen plans and rules and regulations associated with that affects the amount of people that can gather at a time in public and indoors. But I know for the LloydFest, you have a few options of what you may want to see happen in the future.
Absolutely. So thank you, Jasmine, so much for having me. Thank you to Stingray, all right? And a warm welcome to all of our viewers. So Jasmine, as you know, we are not singular in our plans and our thoughts. As any organization and event planners, we are looking at options based on how things progress given the current circumstances. So number one, as an idealist, I like to think of the positive option. So ideally, if things are all well and we have no restrictions or very limited restrictions, we would have a LloydFest 2020, very similar to what we had last year, with an inclusion of a live stream production. As you know, live streams now is a thing of the new norm. So absolutely, we thought that we'll just include it. And this will give our international audience a chance to learn a little bit about our festival. So number two, with restrictions, yes, we can absolutely do that. Think of the restrictions like having a beer garden at an event. You know, in the beer gardens, you have to be fenced around, you have certain stipulations, and you have a limited amount of people who can be in that space. Well, that safety space is what we call our safety circle. We would like to implement that for LloydFest if we have restrictions. Additionally, we would like to spread the event out to different parts of the Bud Miller Park, which is where the festival was originally hosted. So think of the picnic shelter, think of the sundial area, and think of the amphitheater. Those are three spaces that we can have safety circles and we can spread out the event. The amphitheater will have the entertainment, the sundial will have the non-food vendors, and the picnic shelter, we'd like to have the food vendors. All the locations will have music and ambiance. So therefore, that's another option that we have. That too will have a live stream production. If we are very much narrowed down, so let's say, I don't want to call a number, but a very limited amount. We've opted to have all our vendors online in our lloydfest.org website. What is this going to do? I'll tell you. All the vendors will be online with their menus and with their pricing, with an option for you to order in advance. What will that do? That will allow you to have curbside pickup, or what we want to call Bud Miller curbside pickup. So you get a ticket online, you're not going to pay for anything, and then you will come to the location and pick up your order. What this will do for the vendors, we'll have an idea as to how many people are interested in diverse and cultural food over those 2 days, so they can pre-prepare for those figures. So having said all of that, what are our safety precautionary measures? Well, how does colorful face mask vibes with you? So live stream entertainment requires live entertainment. So all our performers, should they want to have the face mask, we are suggesting that you have face masks to match your outfit. So there are local people in Lloyd who are making face masks. We would just like to order the face mask in different colors from you. For our volunteers, our colors are orange and black. We would probably want to have orange face masks or black face masks. So there it is, we're encouraging people in the city to contribute to the event. Sanitizers, gloves, all the precautionary measures for our vendors. Face masks for our performers if need be. And we also are ordering regular face masks, you know, the normal PPE ones, for other people who are coming to the event if they would like to use those. So let me see, did I leave out anything else? Oh, the other thing is, you would probably ask, well, if you have a limited amount, if we have Plan B, which is the second one I mentioned to you, if we have a limited amount in these spread out safety-based places, how are we going to give people a chance? Well, you're going to be rotated. You're going to be given a boarding pass. You can enter the safety space, but you have 1 hour to get in, enjoy yourself, and leave nicely. Now, you're going to ask me about management, Susan. How are you going to manage this? Well, I'm not taking any chances. So each location will have a security officer. So if you don't like listening to volunteers, well, you will have to listen to our security officer who will be there to ensure that these safety precautionary measures are handled. Of course, that goes with signage and everything else. I've got to tell you, Jasmine, this was jumping through a lot of hoops to come through with some of the ideas. One other thing that I need to tell you, our live stream production is not just a live stream production for our Lloyd Fest. Our live stream production is to promote Lloydminster. What do I mean by that? Well, as you would know, in editing and putting footage together, you have to have extra footage. You have your establishing shots and all those things, but you need extra footage. So I have approached the city to ask them for footage that they have to show and demonstrate what Lloydminster is all about. We're a border city, places to go, people to see, and things to do. And we are going to insert those ready footage material into our live broadcast so that when there is a lull in the spaces of the performances, we will be bringing to you what Lloydminster is all about. So at the end of the day, that production is a production that can be used post Lloyd Fest to tell you all about Lloydminster.
Lloydfest is a really big celebration of culture and culture around the area and around the world. So if anyone is wanting to potentially be a performer, start vendors, or anything like that, how can they contact you?
Absolutely. You can go on our lloydfest.org, and we have options there from volunteers to any kind of vendor. You can go there and register, and I will get an immediate email. Feeling that if you see me driving around, please flag me down. I'm open to that as well. My phone number is 7805228019. So you can certainly do all of those things. A lot of my executives have remained behind the scene. I don't know why. I do have executives on the board who work with me, but they seem to be a bit shy. So I'm seen to be the one that's taking that. Additionally, one thing I would also like to say is that pre-COVID, we did have people who were very supportive on coming on board to support Lloydfest 2020. This is pre-COVID, okay? And I would really like to actually extend my thank you to them for their continued support.
Thank you so much for joining us, Susan.
Thank you so much for having me, Jasmine. And you have a fun day. Enjoy the moments while being creative, okay?
Thanks, and best of luck with Lloydfest.
All right, taking a look at your weather one last time here. Take a look at some of the temperatures around our region tomorrow. 20 degrees being the daytime high here in Lloydminster tomorrow, along with Marwayne, St. Paul, and St. Walburg. 19 degrees in Vegreville and Edmonton and Vermilion tomorrow as well. And 21s up in Cold Lake, Bonnyville, Pierceland, and in Lac La Biche. So here's a look at the next 7 days. 20 degrees being the daytime high for Friday. 17 on Saturday. 18 degrees on Sunday with that daytime high there. 20 degrees on Monday. 20 degrees on Tuesday. And 20 degrees on Wednesday as well. Take a look into Thursday as we could see a possibility of some showers, that 56% chance there with some showers there. So a nice weekend, nice week ahead rather, as we get ahead to the next couple of days here. So we are expecting some showers and some cloud coverage over the course of the next several days there. So like I mentioned, we could get some of that rain on the it is still a possibility, but of course as we head into Canada Day, not long weekend, as we get to Canada Day, we should have some fairly nice weather for that, as we usually get averaging around 22 degrees for our daytime high, usually averaging around 10 degrees for our daytime low. So as we kind of take a look into the weekend, we could possibly see just about less than 10 millimeters of rain there, but should have a nice week nonetheless.